All right, it's time to check in now with our partners from the Voice of OC for an update on what's happening this week in Orange County government and politics.
Here to talk about issues in the news right now, we welcome the editor-in-chief for Voice of OC, Norberto Santana.
Norberto, earlier this year, you and reporter Nick Gerda teamed up on an investigation about the influence of special interest money in last year's Lake Forest City Council campaigns, where two developers sought to convert part of an auto mall into homes. Now this week, longtime councilman Peter Herzog resigned from office, releasing a scathing letter against his council colleagues that largely echoed the Voice of OC investigation. What's the latest with that?
Herzog did call his colleagues, Councilman Adam Nick, Dwight Robinson, and Mayor Scott Voigt, a sham rubber stamp council for the developers who financed their campaigns with the help of Orange County's Republican Party. Now, he also called City Attorney Scott Smith an embarrassment. Here's what he told us about the issue.
It seems to me we're going from a little city atmosphere where you're focused on the people to this Washington, Sacramento stuff, and we've seen recently how well that works. Cronyism and then obviously campaign donations now are a key element on who decides what.
Now, Herzog, himself a longtime Republican, says that after months of watching his colleagues ignore the community's best interest, he's stepping down to focus on getting the word out to residents.
You know, our whole country was founded on this idea of an enlightened citizenry, and it's worked so well for so long. But we've got to get back there and pay attention to who's getting elected. Who are they really? What do they really mean? And are they focused on the community or something else? People need to rise up and take back their community.
Now, council members Voigt, Nick, and Robinson declined comment.
Norberto, Orange County supervisors say they need to get more involved in improving conditions for more than 800,000 children across our county amid a new report that shows drops in child care spaces and school spending with more children living in poverty. What's going on?
This week, Supervisor Todd Spitzer openly challenged his colleagues from the dais, calling the latest report on the conditions of children a demand for action. Now, Spitzer said that the document shouldn't just go on a shelf, but should be actively used to create policy changes. Now, meanwhile, Supervisor Janet Wynn also urged her Republican colleagues to consider that preventative steps like hiking enrollment in Medi-Cal or sponsoring things like vaccination clinics wouldn't just save lives, but millions of dollars in costly hospital visits. Now, the latest report, among other findings, shows a 73% reduction in available child care spots for elementary school children in the past 2 years alone. Now, officials say that drop largely comes from a shift in state budgeting from licensed to unlicensed facilities. And officials add that those programs often only operate when school is in session, meaning that during summer sessions or holidays, families won't have that child care option. Now, the report's good news includes a 31% drop in infant mortalities, a 49% increase in child support collection, and a 3% increase in the high school graduation rate. Now, the bad news includes a 12% drop in school spending over the last 4 years and a 2% jump in the rate of students receiving free and reduced lunch, which is considered one of the best indicators of children living in poverty. Now, the report also notes a major demographic shift in Orange County with a rising number of Latino children in our region from about 30% of the children in the year 2000 to nearly 50% in 2010. Now, the report was prepared by Cal State Fullerton, the Orangewood Children's Foundation, and the Children and Families Commission of Orange County. And you can learn a lot more about the findings by going to one of these open forums where experts are available to answer questions. The open round of forums will be in Santa Ana, Fullerton, and Irvine, with more planned in December and January. More information is available by calling the Orangewood Children's Foundation.
All right, another Voice of OC investigation, this one into the failed attempt to privatize the Orange County Fairgrounds in Costa Mesa, seems to have triggered the interest of investigators for District Attorney Tony Rackauckus. What's happening on that front?
Earlier this year, a new set of Fair Board members set up a Fair Sale Review Committee and gave the group access to many inside documents and then asked them to write their conclusions. Now, the group, led by former Los Alamitos Police Chief Mike McCrary, did indeed confirm much of Voice of OC's own reporting on that issue, concluding that the last Fair Board had essentially laundered public funds to lobbyists and lawyers for their failed effort to privatize the fairgrounds, among other issues. Now, they called on the DA to renew an investigation, even though the prosecutor's office cleared Fair Board members of any wrongdoing back in 2011. Now, here's what McCrary told us earlier this year about the panel's conclusions.
What I call laundering, they went through a planning organization where they had existing contracts, and they added these contracts for attorney services in Sacramento through that. And that's what I call laundering. It had nothing to do with the planning operation of this organization whatsoever.
Now, earlier this month, DA investigators indicated that they're taking another look into matters, issuing a rare request for Fair Board members to waive their attorney-client privilege with the state lawyer who essentially fired them, Deputy Attorney General Helen Ayers. Now, local prosecutors apparently want to hear what was being debated in closed session by board members back in 2009 that caused Ayers to seek the rare move of firing the local Fair Board as a client of the state's top lawyer, who represents agencies like the fairgrounds.
And we don't want to let you go without congratulating you. First and foremost, congratulations to you as well as the staff at Voice of OC. You became the second online news organization ever to be admitted to the California Newspaper Publishers Association. That's very cool. Congratulations on that.
Thanks, guys.
For more on these stories and other political news throughout Orange County, go to voiceofoc.org.